I received a nice surprise recently when I came home and saw that my stepfather had delivered a box full of some of my late mother's belongings. A Herman treasury, a Red Wing jersey, a Lions jersey, and even her boxing gloves. Among the photos and other papers was this: an issue of Room magazine. Issue number 48. Room magazine was a popular free publication that circulated in Windsor at the turn of the millennium. This magazine is the June 1998 edition. Room was a monthly arts and culture magazine that Gen Xers and older millennials will remember fondly. 10,000 copies of Room are distributed throughout Windsor and Essex County, bringing residents a look at what's happening in their city. The first question I had is, why did my mother have it? I really wanted to take a look inside the magazine and see what was happening in the arts and music scene in Windsor in 1998. So let's take a look. And this is what we did before the internet. It didn't take long to discover why my mother had a copy. This is an article about my Uncle Randy. The article's talking about his success with a couple of short films that he made. The Lady in Red was a film about his mother, Muriel, my grandma. The magazine is filled with interesting articles about the arts and the environment, as well as profiles on musicians and upcoming shows. I remember always getting a copy of Room to read at work. Myself and others would share a copy and then end up reading it cover to cover. There were even columns that ran every month. Serial diners wrote reviews on Windsor restaurants. In this article, the reviewers Cliff and Judith visited El Mayor restaurant on Wyandotte Street East. I find it interesting to look at all the ads in the magazine. They give us a glimpse at what was happening at the time. For instance, this ad for South Shore Books has the bookstore with a wrecking ball swinging towards it. At the time in 1998, the Norwich block had not yet been torn down, but they knew it was coming. And here's a photo of South Shore Books owner Martin Deck, aka Zonk. And there are ads in here of very familiar bars and restaurants, most of which no longer exist, but are remembered fondly from that era of downtown Windsor. Internet for $24.94 a month? Not too shabby. This ad is great. Remember the Eclectic Cafe, presently Windsor's iconic fog lounge? Well, they had just renovated and were accepting Canadian Tire money at par. Does Canadian Tire money still exist? I know I have some. I suggest asking Tom at Fog if he'll still accept it.
You know what? Eat shit.
Garage door open. Beer is chilling. The upper cup is now a tattoo parlor. I loved Room to see what local bands were playing where. It was the dawn of the internet. This was the best way to find out what was happening on the scene. Here's a great photo of some of the members of Luxury Christ. It looks like it may have been taken at the Coach. This band was very, very well respected on the scene and routinely got naked on stage. Reading the magazine reminded me how many music venues existed back in the day. The Coach, the Loop, the Spotted Dog, the Press Club, the Aardvark, the Sandwich Mill, the Pterodactyl, Patrick O'Ryan's, Fidel's, Plunkett's, Rum Runners, featuring bands like Luxury Christ, The Scarecrows, Sewing with Nancy, Big Daddy A and the Mervs, Train 45, Village Idiot, Kenneth MacLeod. You could find Room distributed throughout bars and restaurants in the downtown core. Amazing to see that some of these businesses are still around 25 years later. Dr. Disc, for one. Rock Bottom and Capri are still around, of course. Herb Festival, but not the kind you smoke. That's too bad. Stumbling around the alleys of downtown Windsor in 1998, you really needed to know when you found the Spotted Dog. '29 Park was an art gallery back in 1998. My old pal Christian Aldo was displaying art there.
Need you to actually get on the labeling and start labeling these pieces now. I can't do it. I gotta go dressed. Help me out.
It got me thinking that perhaps I was at some of the shows advertised in this issue, like this Village Idiot concert at the Coach. Heck, I even filmed it. I find it interesting that Google was founded on September 4th, 1998. just 2 months after this issue was released. The mag even had a classified section with some people looking to join bands or bands looking for new drummers or bass players. Here's one: composer instrumentalist requires band for ethereal acid dance jazz fusion recording project. The Morningwoods looking for lead vocals. If you pretend you are Jimmy Page, we want you. No death metal or grunge. No cover for students or casino staff. Room even had its own locally produced comic strips. I don't understand what any of them mean, but they had them. I tried the number, but it was recently disconnected. Room was predominantly black and white except for the front and back covers and a middle ad section. I once witnessed a man get dragged out of the pterodactyl by his hair for urinating in the men's room sink. Here are the names of the fine folks that produced Room magazine. It was a real treat coming across this issue and sharing it with my wife and friends. It brought back a flood of memories for us, all good. And for reference, this is what I was up to in 1998. I'm happy to report that the local history branch of the Windsor Public Library has lots of issues of Room magazine in the building that you can go and check out. Here's a photo of my brother and I from the box of my mom's things. And I still have that Hawaiian shirt and jacket. For more Windsor-related videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Michael Evans, Windsor, Ontario. Special thanks to Village Idiot, Big Daddy A, and the Merbs, who still play together on occasion. They gigged at Meteor last year, and I heard it was amazing. And the band Luxury Christ. Time for a pedicure.